Take a breath before we begin, because this is not just another reading. This is one of those messages that reaches deeper than the surface, the kind that touches what you've been feeling quietly, what you haven't said out loud, what you've been carrying inside without fully understanding. This is not just about what will happen. This is about what is already happening and why it feels the way it does. Because Libra, something inside you already knows. You've been feeling it. That strange mix of thoughts that don't stop, that emotional weight that comes and goes, that feeling that something is off, even when everything looks normal from the outside. And May comes exactly to reveal that, not in a chaotic way, but in a very precise way, a way that makes you see clearly who is affecting you, what is draining you, what is no longer aligned with you. Because your energy this month is extremely sensitive. You will feel more, notice more, understand things without needing explanations. And at the same time, you will need to learn something that may not be easy for you. How to care without losing yourself, how to love without carrying everything, how to stay present without absorbing what is not yours. Because Libra has a tendency to feel too much, to care too much, to give too much. And May will test exactly that. There is also a strong internal discomfort, a quiet realization, this is not where I thought I would be. This is not how I imagine things. And that creates tension inside you because you are a sign that needs balance. You need to feel that things make sense. But spirituality already shows something important. This is not a mistake. This is not failure. This is realignment. Your path is not broken. It is being redirected. And throughout this reading, you will begin to understand exactly why. There is someone in your life right now who is not creating chaos, but is slowly draining your energy. And this is exactly why it's dangerous, because it doesn't come as a big fight. It doesn't come as something obvious. It comes in small doses. A comment that feels unnecessary, a tone that feels slightly off, a subtle criticism, a look, a reaction, something small and but repeated. And repetition is what creates emotional exhaustion. At first you ignore it, then you tolerate it, then you start feeling it, and suddenly you realize you're tired, not physically, emotionally. And for most of you, this person is close, very close. Family, in many cases, someone you cannot simply walk away from. And that is where the challenge begins, because you don't know how to position yourself without creating conflict. But here is the truth that changes everything. You don't need to confront everything to solve it. Some things are solved through distance, not physical distance, but emotional distance. Because this person will become more intense, more direct, more uncomfortable. And if you keep reacting the same way, this will grow. So May teaches you something powerful. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not everything deserves your explanation. Not everything deserves your energy. You are not here to prove anything. You are not here to correct everyone. You are not here to carry other people's immaturity. Sometimes the strongest position is silence, not a weak silence, a conscious silence, a silence that says, I see what this is, and I choose not to engage. And when you reach that point, this person loses power over you. Now we move into something deeper, something that has been sitting quietly inside you, a realization that you haven't fully accepted yet. Your life didn't follow the plan you created, and that bothers you more than you admit, because you are someone who thinks ahead. You imagine, you organize mentally, you create expectations. And when reality doesn't match that, you feel lost, not completely lost, but displaced. As if you are in a version of life that wasn't supposed to be yours. And here is where frustration grows. Because part of you keeps asking, where did I lose control? Where did things change? Why didn't it go the way I planned? But here comes a truth that may feel uncomfortable, but will also free you. You were never in full control. You were navigating, not controlling. And this changes everything. Because instead of trying to force reality back into your plan, you are being asked to understand reality as it is now, to adapt, to observe, to reposition yourself, because the path didn't disappear. It just changed direction. And when you stop resisting that change, you begin to move again, not backwards, forward, but differently. This is one of the strongest points in your entire reading. You are emotionally connected to many people right now. You are thinking about them, worrying about them, wanting them to be okay, wanting them to grow, wanting them to solve their lives. And this comes from a genuine place. It's not control, it's care. But care, when it crosses a certain line, turns into weight. And you are feeling that weight because every time one situation seems to improve, another one appears, another person, another concern, another emotional responsibility. And without realizing it, you are carrying multiple lives inside your mind. And that creates a silent exhaustion. You don't even notice when it starts, but you feel the result: overthinking, emotional heaviness, difficulty relaxing. And here comes a very important lesson. You can love people peaceful without carrying their struggles. You can care without suffering for them. You can support without losing yourself. Because if you don't learn this now, you will continue absorbing more than you should. And May is the month where this awareness begins. Now something shifts. And this part may surprise you because you've been looking at your financial life with very little expectation. Almost like this is it. Nothing big will change. I'll just deal with what I have. But this perspective is not aligned with what is actually coming. There is something returning, an opportunity, a situation, something that you already faced before but couldn't resolve. Now it comes back, but not the same way. Now you are different, more aware, more prepared, and that changes the outcome. But there is one obstacle, your hesitation, because when something didn't work before, you naturally doubt it. You question, you analyze, you delay. But here is the key message. This is not the same moment. This is not the same version of you. And this is not the same opportunity. And if you treat it like it is, you might miss it again. So the guidance is clear. Move, even if it feels uncertain, even if you don't have full clarity, because this movement removes a weight, not just financial, but mental, because your emotional state is deeply connected to your sense of stability. And once this shifts, you will feel it immediately. Now we enter the most intense area of your reading, love. And here, everything is heightened. Your emotions, your desires, your openness. You want connection. You want something real. You want to feel alive in that area. And this energy attracts experiences, strong ones, fast ones, deep ones. But here is where the warning becomes essential. Intensity is not always stability. And that is something you need to remember. Because when emotions rise quickly, so do expectations. And when expectations rise too fast, reality struggles to keep up. So you may encounter someone or experience something that feels very real, very strong, very convincing. But that doesn't mean it will sustain itself. Not because it's fake, but because it's impulsive. So the lesson here is not to avoid love. It's to stay aware inside it, feel it, live it, experience it, but don't disappear inside it. Don't give everything before understanding what it truly is. Now, about someone from your past, there is emotion there. There is memory. There is longing, but there is also blockage. That person feels, but doesn't act, thinks, but doesn't move. And that creates a gap between feeling and reality. So if anything shifts, it will require movement, but movement without expectation, without pressure, without illusion. The reading closes with a very powerful message. You are not lacking love. You are not lacking opportunity. You are not lacking connection. What you are learning is how to stay in control of yourself while experiencing all of it. Because the moment you lose yourself, everything becomes unstable. But the moment you remain centered, everything aligns. And this is your real lesson: to feel deeply without losing clarity, to love intensely without losing yourself, to care sincerely without carrying everything. Because when you reach that balance, your life doesn't just improve, it transforms.